Have you ever stared at a blank page, wondering what is it that your editor or publisher wants? So today we'll be looking at the difference between content brief, guidelines, and article outline. Content brief, guideline, and article outline. I'm Dr. Zoka. I'm a medical doctor, a medical writer, reviewer, editor on this journey. Let me show you the difference between the three. Also, note that I will leave the links to the content brief, the guideline, that's the brand checklist, and the outline in the description box, so you are free to download. So a content brief is like a roadmap to the article, to the medical writing project you've been given to do. It's just like a doctor writing a referral note, giving you a referral note to take to another hospital or to another doctor. It's just a direction. It just gives a direction on what needs to be done. Now, there are so many sections on the content brief, as you can see on the screen. So this is a content brief on a patient education article on hypertension in adults. So the topic is hypertension in adults. So we can see the different sections of the content brief. So you can see the different sections of the brief. That's the title, hypertension in adults. So this is the full title here, Understanding Hypertension in Adults, Causes, Symptoms, and Management. Then you see the other section. The next section is the target audience. Like I said, this is a roadmap. The content brief is a roadmap so that you understand what you need to do exactly. So you see the target audience, adults aged 30 to 65 with limited medical knowledge. So this guides you on the language that you use to write the article, and especially patients recently diagnosed with high blood pressure or who are at risk. So you are writing with the audience in mind. Then the brief also gives you the objective of the article so that you know exactly what to focus on. The objective is to educate patients on what hypertension is, its risk, symptoms, causes, and how it can be managed or prevented through lifestyle and medical interventions. Then the next section in the brief is the tone and style. So the editor, the publisher, or the client also tells you the tone and style to use, and all these things are contained within the content brief. So if you're a writer, always request for a content brief. So you can see conversational but medically accurate, 6 to 8 grade readability level. So that guides you on the tone and the language to use so that your audience will be able to understand what you've written. Use of short paragraphs, plain language, and subheadings. Then avoid jargon, medical jargon, define terms simply. So that's the tone and style. Then the brief also gives you information on the format, like the number of words, the headings, whether you have to use headings or bullet points, and whether the writer, the client demands a conclusion. Some people may not insist on you having a conclusion, but if you have it on your content brief, then you have to include it. You can see this content brief said no citations needed, but content must be evidence-based. Some other content brief may also request for, you may have a request for you to put references in a particular fashion, or maybe to hyperlink to some sources. Then some clients may also provide you with keywords as part of the content brief. Like for this article, you can see the SEO keywords: hypertension, high blood pressure, symptoms of hypertension, so, and all others. So what you need to do is to make sure that you include these keywords as much as possible in your subheadings and the paragraphs to meet your client's expectations. Then this is a call to action. So some may insist on this, some may not insist, but if your client or your editor insists on you adding a call to action, then your article must have that call to action. Some may also add distribution channels so that you have an idea of how the article will be distributed at the end of the day. For this client, for this editor, the editor wishes that the articles will be distributed to hospital blogs, patient information leaflets, or health websites. As a writer, this helps you to have an understanding of where your work will be published at the end of the day. So the content brief is a roadmap, as we've seen. So by the time you have this, you know the direction to take whenever you have an article to write. So that's for the content brief. Now let's go over to the guideline. This guideline that you can see here is just an excerpt. It's not a complete guideline. So many publishers have more robust guidelines than what we have here, but this is just an excerpt for you to have an idea. So the writing guidelines, some people call it the brand checklist. It's just like a compendium of the rules that you have to keep as you write. So it's more detailed than the content brief, but for some also they include the writing guidelines as part of the content brief for some. Some may even include the article outline as part of the content brief. But for some publishers, for some clients, they may send this as separate documents to you. So whenever you are working with any client, also request a writing guideline. It helps to guide you on what to write, and this helps to reduce the number of revisions. So always request for this. So you can see in the writing guidelines, the article should be at least 1,200 words. Document the word count at the top of the manuscript. Include AI and plagiarism stores. It should be written in Google Docs. Use US English. References should follow the Harvard style. Font should be normal text and New Roman size 12. Most guidelines are usually more robust than this, but this gives you an idea of what to expect in a guideline. So the expectation is that before you turn in the work, before you submit, you should look at the content brief and make sure you captured everything you have on the content brief. And that you also look at the writing guidelines to make sure that you've captured everything there before submitting. This reduces friction between you and the publisher or the editor. So that's about the brand checklist or the writing guideline. Then we have the article outline. The article outline just gives the structure of the article, like the headings, the subheadings, what you should have within the paragraphs. As you can see what I have here. You can see what I have here. So this is still for that same article on hypertension in adults. So from here you can see the editor has laid out the structure for the article. You can see the introduction with a few notes on what you should add on the introduction, like a quick definition, why it's called the silent killer, importance of early detection and management. Then you can see other subsections, what is blood pressure, causes and risk factors, common symptoms, why hypertension matters, how it's diagnosed, how to manage and lower blood pressure, living well with hypertension, when to see a doctor, conclusion and call to action. So this is the structure of the article. So some people may include this within the content brief. What I usually do when I send content brief to our writers is to include the structure, the outline within the content brief. So it comes as the same document. But for some other persons, they may also send this to you as a separate document. Then what you need to do as a writer is that before you ever start any project, request for the content brief, request for the brand checklist or writing guideline, also request for the article outline. Now, if it is not in the editor's and or publisher's structure, the structure of the organizations to provide this, then no problem, you can go ahead. But make sure that they are not providing it won't hamper the revisions or the outcome of your work. So always request for that, always insist that that should be done, unless where they cannot do that. I'll leave the links to all these documents in the description box. At the same time, I'll also leave the link to our courses. We have different medical writing courses available for you to learn. You have the saved place courses that you can easily access, you have instant access to, and you can take just immediately you pay for the course. Then we also have the live courses that we have them in three packages. The live courses comes in three packages. We have the one-on-one, that's an individual training that you can have at your convenience. Then the 14-day medical writing challenge, that is a larger group training that you have a 14 days training in addition to a LinkedIn challenge. It lasts for 2 weeks, that's 14 days. Then we also have the small group coaching. If you want to be coached maybe with a small group of your friends or colleagues, not more than a group of not more than 5, that one is also available. And I also leave the link to a medical writing book. The medical writing field is all about learning. So you have to be a voracious learner. You have to have a voracious appetite for learning to be able to go in this field. So these resources will be available for you. The links for the content brief, the brand checklist, and the article outline, those ones are free, so you can easily access them through the link that I will leave there. So see you on the next video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video.
Please subscribe.